audible
you.
now? Am I audible now?
Okay, Sajay, I will try to manage it. I'll try to manage.
Okay, so good afternoon and welcome back to the new era of agriculture commodity trade. Welcome to the session 2, day 5 of Commodity Week World 2026 or CWW 26. Earlier today, we opened day 5 by discussing the high stakes structure shifts, production shortfalls, and policy matrices, redefining the pulses corridor across the Asia and Pacific region. Now we are chasing the sun westward to explore a completely different yet deeply interconnected theater of global trade. Welcome to the Europe, Middle East, and Africa War Room. We are continuing to bring the global boardroom directly to your screen. CWW 26 is organized by HnyB Tech Incubations and Know Your Commodity, and it's also presented by AgriGuru Online and supported by Kripco Agri, Bajrang International Group, and Bengani Group, along with our association partners OATA Myanmar, Ukraine Pulses and Soybean Association, and GAPKI Indonesia. Other institution partners include Solidaridad and the World Cooperation Economic Forum. CWW 26 is moving entirely beyond the delayed data of its historical balance sheets and heavily scripted presentations. This is an unscripted, unfiltered war room. As a reminder, our sessions are beamed live across multiple digital assets on LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Facebook, and our event website. Now let's see the macro view. Pulses are the critical anchor for global nutrition and protein security. Unlike highly globalized grains, the international pulses market is an intricately tight, specialized trading network where a handful of key origins feed hyper concentrated demand centers. The global pulses balance sheet is undergoing a profound change. The intersection of changing climate, production shocks, and aggressive trade policy has removed all margin for error in procurement. Now, this brings us directly to our second panel of the day, which is the EMEA theater, the African pipeline, and European substitution matrix. Here in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, the pulses narrative is defined by Africa's critical role as a strategic supply engine and Europe's position within the global substitution and regulatory matrix. Let's break down the critical EMEA pressure points shaping trade today. First, East and East Central African nations, including Tanzania, Mozambique, and Malawi, have become indispensable pillars for global pulses origination, particularly for long duration crops like pigeon peas. As supply anxieties intensify, Africa's role is being amplified by a possible deficit in traditional Asian supply corridors due to El Nino. Secondly, Europe represents a crucial frontier for both pulses production and structural substitution. The entire regional market is micro-tracking the availability of yellow peas, which serve as a critical demand cap for the global desi chickpea and pigeon pea. This is occurring at a time when the peas pipeline is fundamentally vulnerable, with flat production during the past harvest and global carrying sitting at just around 3% of the demand. Thirdly, across the Mediterranean basin, North Africa, and the Middle East, buyers are navigating an intensively complex procurement landscape. While the global lentil market exhibits a baseline of supply comfort due to a massive carry-in and supply glut in Canada, local buyers cannot escape microeconomic headwinds. We are going to extract that foresight right now. We have assembled an elite strike force of EMEA pulses expert. Our mandate for this session remains the same: no script, no filters, just pure market intelligence. To our live audience, prepare to rethink your coverage strategies. Welcome to session 2 of day 5 at Commodity Week World. Let's officially open the Pulses Europe, Middle East, and Africa War Room. So now I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. Sam Bogusoglu. He is an accomplished international trader and founding partner at Swiss Aegean Trading, a specialized commodity firm based in Switzerland. He specializes in the cross-border sourcing, storage management, and distribution of agriculture raw materials and grains across the EMEA region. His core competencies managing complex trade finances, and building resilient international partnership within highly regulated European and Mediterranean markets. We welcome you.
Thank you very much, Niraj. Thank you very much to you and to the all panelists and to the audience who's listening us. I'm so glad to be part of this nice panel.
Yeah, can you start your video, Mr. Sam? Is it possible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Sam. So, Mr. Sam, first question to you. What localized trade finance mechanisms are proving most resilient for securing cross-border sourcing across highly regulated European and Mediterranean markets?
Well, I mean, if you would go to the trade finance part of the business, especially in this high geopolitical risk environment, I would say the LCs are still the safest, but as you know, they have a long processing time, so they are not preferred in the industry, especially in the pulses industry, in the daily common quick trades. What we can say also, the geopolitical risks in the recent year and years, I have to say, have been pushing the suppliers and to look for more guaranteed and faster finance terms like advance payment or TT payment. In Europe, of course, the picture will be different. In Europe, there will be lots of different financing mechanisms, including warehouse financing, crop financing, and longer-term credits with the farmers. But if you look into the Middle East and Black Sea region, I believe the business is more on the TT and advanced payment side of the picture.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sam, for the answer. So now, according to that, my next question would be, how do you optimize cost structures and manage risk exposure across complex multi-origin storage and distribution networks in the specifically EMEA region?
Look, we have very valuable two panelists with us, Navneet and Sergey are in the business since long years, and they have a huge and big experience in the pulses trade, if I have to say about the pulses. For the pulses, you need to be really flexible on all terms because it's quite a volatile and flexible business. You need to be flexible for pulses in terms of origination, in terms of sourcing, in terms of contractual conditions. And then when it comes to optimize your prices, you need to have alternative origins, alternative suppliers, alternative logistics solutions. When you cannot ship with containers, you need to find other terms. I mean, this is a year that is flexing all the traders to think out of the box and create alternative routes, which are like hybrid routes now, including sea transport, rail car transport, and truck transport as well. It is really hard to get to the conflict zone, for example, to the Gulf. Currently, I have shipments going both in rail cars, in vessels, and finally in trucks to the Gulf countries. So while doing this, of course, you need to remain competitive for your buyers and give them the best service that you can.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. So my next question would be, when navigating Mediterranean trade corridors, how do you balance long-term supply agreements with the immediate necessity of the spot market agility?
Well, for me, being almost 25 years in the pulses market, the biggest strength that I have is the strong relationships, especially in the pulses market. because pulses, different than the other commodities, especially the grains, has bigger fluctuations and price volatility. So you need to have reliable counterparties on both sides, on both sides of the supply chain, both on the buyers and the supplier side, and on farm gate even. So I believe the key to the long-term supply is to have stronger relationships with these parts. Otherwise, if you are not working in close proximity, or let's say close relationship with your buyers or sellers, you are definitely exposed to big risk of price fluctuations. You may end up having an expensive product in your hand and no buyer, or you may end up having no product and your buyers after you. So the strong relationships are the key for the long-term supply, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam, for this great answer. Very well articulated. So my last question before we let you go, what are the most critical components of building a resilient supply chain solution for specifically agriculture raw materials under this strict regional import mandates?
In my opinion, first of all, strong quality control mechanism is the most. You see, especially in the pulses business, if you want to remain and known as a reliable supplier, you need to have a well-established quality management system. Given the pulses structure, that they are very quality sensitive and less standardized compared to the grains. You need to know you need to have a team on the field who understands the crop, the product very well, and procuring and delivering the goods that you really deserve by your buyers. And in my opinion, you need to have, for resilient supply chain, you need to have a very strong market intelligence, which comes in the pulses again with the experience, as again, different than the oil seeds and grains. We don't have any hedging mechanism, so we strongly rely on market intelligence and understanding the market from your network and contacts. On that part, we rely heavily on information sources, like, for example, Sergey's company in Russia, and like good brokers like Navneet in India to provide us reliable information and give us a clear picture of the market outlook. More than that, I would also emphasize the flexibility on the sourcing. If you want to be a key player in the pulses industry, you need to be also flexible in terms of your sources, like as origins, not to rely only on one origin. If it is yellow peas, for example, you need to be aware there's yellow peas in India, there's yellow peas in Black Sea, there's yellow peas being harvested in Canada, and also or the lentils. You need to follow up the lentils in Canada, in Australia, in Turkey, in Black Sea region. So flexibility and alternative origins are the key also for a resilient supply chain, in my opinion.
Thank you so much, Sam, for this amazing answer and the great insights you have provided to our audience. Thanks once again for accepting our invitation and giving such insightful discussion to all of us. Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you very much. Good luck to the rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. So now we move on to Russia, where our next speaker is Sergey. As Sam mentioned, he's also there. So he'll bring us the insight from the Russian pulses. I'll just briefly introduce him because he's having the presentation and we'll be more than happy to see insights from him. Sergey is a designated professional serving as founder at Russian Pulses Analytics, who brings a deep experience and specialized expertise to the global agriculture value chain. Sergey, can we see you and hear you?
Yeah, definitely. I am here.
Yeah, great. So, are you going to present, right? So,
Yeah, that's right. A
can you
short
share the
summary
screen?
of Pulse's market this year and previous year to compare and to check what tendencies do we have this season.
Perfect, perfect. So, can you just check you are able to share the screen, please?
Okay, I turned demonstration. Is everything good?
Yeah, it is visible. Perfectly fine. Go ahead, please, Sergey. We look forward.
Okay. So, guys, let's start. First of all, great thanks for invitation. And first of all, I want to tell key point everybody all over the world like Indian cuisine and pulses is a big part of Indian cuisine. So that's why for a long time I deeply interested in India and pulses. Great thanks for Navneet for opening such a big market, even a big pulses word for me. And I will try to share my view of pulses market nowadays of this season. So let's come closer to figures. As we can see on this slide, previous season was very good for Russia. We had a huge crop. I'd like to tell decent crop of yellow peas, of lentils and chickpea, and most role acted lentils and chickpea acreage. And if we are talking about yellow peas, the main work was done by increased yield. But unfortunately, we had prices that farmers didn't like all over the season, and it was a falling season or in terms of prices. So that's why I suppose acreage of this year will be lower. We have only estimations, and in January we had short summary of possible acreage acreage sharing in pulses from Agri Ministry, Agmin. Well, it is only preliminary and only planning acreage. It is not a fact. It is a kind of proposal of using land under policies, but farmers are very practically oriented people and they are living with calculator in their hands. So that's why I do believe prices of previous year was was not favorable to proceed pulses program. I suppose acreage from pulses in a 10, 15, maybe even 20% will move to oil seeds. So anyway, we can see on this slide share of different regions and federal districts of yellow pea acreage, the left top slide lentil acreage, right top left bottom is chickpeas acreage, and we may conclude that chickpeas acreage and lentils deeply concentrated in two regions. If we are talking about lentils, it is Volga region and Siberia, particularly Altai region. If we are talking about chickpeas, it is Saratov, Volgograd, then Samara, Orenburg, and others. So it is very close concentrated regions of production. So possible acreage and crop, it is only planning according to January data. And what about production and overproduction? As we can see, world pulses imports increased from 2005 to even 2026 year by year. But with kind of pauses, as example in 2018 when India halted imports. So anyway, in 2014 we supposed, or the 2016 we supposed we're near maximum capacity of pulses market, and right now we see levels higher above this year. Well, as I can say, diversification is a key of solving problems with markets and destination to sell. As we can see on such slide, Russia was deeply concentrated on Turkish market, and Turkey helped us a lot. It is a very important market for us, and Turkey opened door to India, to Pakistan, to Bangladesh, and even to China. And by the way, Canada acted in absolutely other way. It was concentrated on Indian and Chinese market, and that helped a lot Canada in 2018. As you can see, they had no kind of pause in volumes exported from Canada. So they switched from India to China, increased their share, and won a lot. That's why we should work in such a way. Here I showed what level of export of Russian pulses we had in 2018 and in 2017 when key analyst, grain analyst Igor Pavensky asked Sergey, can we one day achieve 1 million metric tons of pulses imports? Well, it looks like fairy tale, but maybe, okay, maybe in 2023 we achieved 3 million metric tons and showed twice bigger than in 2018 when financial year when India stopped import. So it is a very competitive market, and we do understand that quality and quantity of lentils from Canada act very important role. But to be honest, right now we are producing more yellow peas than Canada. We should improve our lentils acreage and crop to make market more competitive. But anyway, it is very good that we are improving quality and quantity of our crop. The next point is increasing our export volumes. By the way, in 2025 season, if we are talking about Canada, the main role of overproduction, as some traders telling, but as for me, it is kind of test of workable level of volumes and capacity of the market. So the main part of the game in production yellow peas was done by yellow peas yield. That's why if we're checking Canada yellow peas demand, we have huge stocks. But to be honest, I see no problem in such stocks. First of all, Canada can handle any stocks. It is a very good idea to have stocks as a kind of buffer for any next year crop. Let's take a look at 2021 and 2023 when lower production was crossed by decent buffer stocks, and it helped a lot. when Canada sold previous crop by a decent price when market was high. And it is a very good idea. And I wanna take a point and tell my point of view. Stocks are very good idea to have no surprises with unpredictable supply chain. And by the way, USA pulses acreage is increasing and it is very, very good. By the way, if we're talking about 2027, I suppose trade of Canada pulses will be pretty aggressive and they should trade very active. And the one and the first and the main factor of it is Indian S&D while El Nino season. I do perfectly remember El Nino from 2014 to 2017, and I can conclude that buffer stocks may help a lot to Canada business and to Indian, Pakistani, or Bangladeshi business also. So as we can see, it is a share of markets of export yellow peas, of lentils, and chickpea of Canada. And we can conclude the main export market in March from Canada, it is India. The second part, it is all over the world. I mean, other countries, and 40 kmt of lentils was bought by UAE, and it is very, very interesting and attractive market for Russia also. If we are talking about Canadian export of yellow peas, number one right now it is a Chinese market, and number two it is India. About chickpea, Pakistani market was main for chickpeas of Canada in March 2026. For me, it is kind of admiring because Pakistani market it is very price sensitive, and we may make competitive prices. So let's see how it will be in May and June also. About temps of Canada pulses export, chickpea export going fine, much better than previous to season. About bulk export of lentils in Canada, same temps as in 2024-25 season, but yellow pea exports much slower than previous two seasons. First of all, about it is because Chinese demand and ability to export because of duties. By the way, if we're sure somebody is sure, I'm not telling about we are sure. Some traders are sure next year will be the same falling market. But we can see in Australia after beginning of October, prices rose to any destination, to Pakistan, to India, and India was main buyer of daisy chickpea and lentils also. We can compare stocks of daisy and lentils, and I see no overproduction. So huge crop of Australia was absorbed by market. And by the way, a year ago we talked about Australia production, same as in 2017 when India decided to stop import, and all over the world people decided that is the name of overproduction. 2 million metric tons of daisy, it is madness. And as we can see this season, it is not a problem at all. Pulses market is rising, and we will find a place for any volumes sooner or later. We are not talking about prices. Prices may be falling, may be rising, may be stable, but market is absorbing such volumes, and it is a great news. By the way, what is the price of yellow pea in China? What is the temp of imports? And stocks. Stocks is a right bottom slide. It is amount of stocks of yellow pea in Chinese port. So after falling market of previous season, I am, to be honest, pretty optimistic about next year. I am not talking about a rapidly rising market. It is maybe so, but I do believe because of stocks in Russia and in Canada, it will be slowly rising market with tendency to rise sooner or later. I mean, more or less quickly, or quicker or slower. I'm sorry. So it is very good news for Russian exports. In 2025, we took to, 70% approximately of imports of yellow pea from of China. I'm sorry. So if we're comparing Jan 2025 to November 2025, if we will compare this data. So I mean, from 37% of share of Chinese import, we're now talking approximately 70%. By the way, another main suddenly important player in pulses market became Kazakhstan. I am so glad Kazakhstan increased its pulses program. And if we are telling about Turkish imports, the biggest share of lentils of Turkey right now, it is not Canada even, Kazakhstan. So anyway, any competitive market leads us to better pricing, to better quality management. So market will improve definitely. So let's come closer to Indian market, our main interesting market in the world. If we are talking about import pace of chickpea, and it will be daisy chickpea, 2025 season was much below than 2024. So 600 kmt lower. But to be honest, I do believe this season will be approximately 1.6 million metric tons. About yellow pea, we have ability to increase as in 2025 2 million metric tons. It is absolutely workable. A lot of people maybe disagree with me and comment it is very aggressive temps, but I do believe any diversification, it is a good idea. And by the way, if we're talking about lentils imports and green lentils, in 2025, India imported 1.5 million metric tons of pigeon pea. So if next Kharif season will have some problems with it will be opportunity for green lentils to improve. And by the way, I do believe in El Nino. Let me tell one thing a lot of people disagree. The problem of estimation of Indian crop, third estimate, that agri-ministry showed increasing in daisy chickpea on 1.5 million metric tons. But lentils crop stay safe and absolutely the same. Well, to be honest, I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Lentils and daisy produced closer and pretty close. And if one crop has increasing in 10%, the other crop should have the same increase, but lentils hasn't changed at all. We can check Kharif and Rabi production by years. And by the way, I wanted to tell one thing. In the beginning of April, I checked reports of harvested area and sown area. So on the beginning of April, 33% of pulses was in fields. 55% of lentils was in fields. And if we are talking about the desert chickpea, 33% was in fields also. And while unseasonal rains came, I do not believe in increasing crop and production while harvesting. I think such rains were too late and had impact on quality only. That's why I'm pretty optimistic about market of next year of current season. If Australia will face some problems with Daisy, if Canada will handle its own stocks, and if Russia decreased pulses, acreage, and production, maybe so. So we will see pretty optimistic, good, and workable fair market of next season. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But my cruel English may be a problem. But anyway, I will be glad to hear. We are
No,
making
no.
reports each 2 weeks, and if you are interested in situation in Russia, in Russian trade, it will be very good if you will add us and contact us. Please feel free. We are always very glad to hear you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sergey. There is no issue with your English. It's always a pleasure to have your presentation with such details. I'm sure it was very insightful for our audience. As I said, it's always a pleasure to have you, and we look forward, Sergey, to have you again in near future to talk about pulses. Thanks once
With
again. Thank you so much
great
for joining.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So now we move on to the person, Mr. Navneet Singh Chabra. I'll introduce him with one specific word, but before that, let me just give a brief introduction about him. Navneet Singh Chabra is a globally celebrated pulse specialist and the director of Global Garbanzo, pioneering the single product concept in international trade. Focus exclusively on the global life cycle of Kabuli chickpeas. He is a leading authority on seed genetics, cultivation techniques, and destination market specifications. He works directly with growers and global trade bodies like the GPC to deliver high integrity market data and premium quality standards worldwide. Welcome, Navneet Bhai. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Neeraj bhai. Thank you, Deepak bhai. You are doing a great job. First of all, congratulations to you and what you are doing, making a 1 week haul for all commodities. Really, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Navneet Bhai. It's a great thing coming from you. And as I mentioned, as always, Deepak Bhai said, you are the Kabuli king.
Thank you for these nice words, and also I would like to thank to my all friends. I mean, Sam, Saji, he make a very good presentation always. So for sure, he is one of the door to Russian market, and I think he is making a good reports. And yes, thank you. Let's continue.
Yes. Yeah. So we are very much lucky and glad that we were able to have you guys on our platform. So Navneet bhai, the first question to you is how do you see Kabuli balance sheet and any points which could be bothering for the upcoming season for it?
No, balance sheet for 2026 is like we already saw harvest in India is around 15 to 20% less than last year. Mexico around 40% less. So, except that now it is few crops coming like so, except Canada and Turkey, or other origins like Russia, USA, Canada, Argentina, seeding intentions also will be less in 2026. Russia, it is my view, but other people's are view that the Russia will increase again compared to last year. In my view, Russia will be seed less. So this country is supposed to harvest in coming months. So except the Canadian and Turkey, I think they increase the crop, but other all four origins, my idea, they will decrease. So even with this decrease in India, Mexico, and three, four more countries, we have sufficient stocks from 2025 to cover this less production in 2026 globally. So that's why we see the market is stable and sufficient supply for the Kabuli, especially the Kabuli chickpeas and the small varieties of Kabuli chickpeas.
Thank you so much, Navneet bhai. So that brings me to the second question. What are the primary commercial advantages and inherent structural risk which can be of operating a single product concept focus exclusively on the Kabuli chickpeas?
Neeraj bhai, you know that I believe a little bit in perfection. So, and step by step working. So, I choose one product and want to be perfect on that. That is how the journey of single product is evolved. So, it's a coincidence and a destiny that from where I come, from the region where I come, and when I start my own business, on that time, the Kabuli was only the product it was exporting from India out of the pulses basket. So I started with Kabuli. I started with Indian Kabuli. Then step by step, I added other origins in my portfolio like US, Canada, Mexico, Turkey, Argentina. So that's why step by step we added other origins in our basket, but for one product. So with one product, the advantage is that you only need to show your buyers as a globally buyers. You only need to show, okay, we have this origins of the Kabuli, and it is easy for. So you don't need to find the new buyers for different products. So those who understand the Kabuli, they will for sure understand what different products coming from different origin. So it is easy to find the buyers. It is easy to communicate with them. If it is a one of the advantage that you don't need to find the new buyers. And the challenges is like that. As an Indian, when I'm going here and there in any conference, and they are asking me about the yellow peas, they are asking me about the desi chickpeas, urad, tuar, for which I must have this information, but because I am only dealing in export side of Indian Kabuli, so I don't have that much information or the accurate information of other pulses. So this is one of the challenge, and now also you see lots of industry change in the last 5 to 7 years. So now it's also very tough to survive with one product. So that's why we started some other products in the pulses basket like yellow peas we are doing now, green lentils, we are doing red lentils. So as the time passes, as the demands for change is there, we started now from some origins different products also. So it is the need of the time that you need to not need focus exactly on one product, but you need to continue in the business, so you need to change yourself, your working style.
That's amazing, Navneet bhai. And first of all, kudos to master the one commodity, as well as now we are glad to hear that you're coming up with the whole pulses basket.
No,
So
in
that
our
brings me
industry,
to the
Sorry.
Yes,
In
yes.
our industry, we
Yeah,
say
please
that
go
if
ahead.
you have a less SKUs, it's a good time to grow. So that's why in the starting I put less SKUs, and now we have many SKUs in our portfolio.
No, that's amazing coming from you that you're coming up with more commodities as well. So
Yeah.
Navneet bhai, that brings me to my next question: that how can uh, trade better standardize high integrity market data to reduce information asymmetry, which we have right now in the international Kabuli trade?
Yes, right information, right analytical is needed for such a small crop. And I think accuracy of reports in Kabuli chickpeas is good. I think accuracy is very good in the Kabuli chickpeas. But sure, we need more good inputs like proper crop survey, collection of data of farmers, like what they are growing, and be connected with the farmers. Like in our area in near to Indore, we are doing this, and let's say I have some connection with the US farmers and all that, so that we are talking with them that what you are growing, why you are reducing and all that. But sure, we need to have the farmer data also on the regular basis, what they are doing. And very important is that we need post harvest reports from many origins. Let's say we understand the acreage is, we have many reports that the acreage is less or acreage is more, but at the end, the post-harvest things can change many things, because how the yields are coming. Let's say if the yields in Russia is coming, Russia is growing around 800 to 900,000 tons. If the yield is difference in 10%, 20%, it affects the crop by 150,000 of tons of the crop. So the post-harvest, we need to more focus with associations many pulses association or many trade association we need to do. So I think this is more important in not only in Kabuli but all is crops of pulses, that we need to focus on post-harvest data.
Thank you so much, Navneet bhai, and very rightly said that it's not only about sowing or acreage number. The post-harvest data is also very important to make any type of decision making. So, Navneet bhai, comes the last question for you before we let you go. What specific global demand shifts are you currently tracking that could fundamentally alter the traditional trade geography for your garbanzos beans?
Uh, so look, the Kabul is a product of Horeca Industries. In our households, we are, let's say, except the North India, in all the other Indian parts, we are not using every day, or Kabul is not our regular meal. So it's a product of Horeca Industries in anywhere in the global market, in global destination market. So any situation like in the past we saw COVID, and now we are seeing the Middle East situation like US, Iran, and Israel situations, right? So which disrupts the traveling. So it directly affects the consumption of the Kabuli chickpeas. So let's say now we are talking about the UAE tourism, that UAE have a very less tourism and all that. So except the UAE, if you see other market like let's say the other Middle East market, let's say Turkey, or even if you talk about the Russian market, Russian people, they are saying that many less tourists are coming because of this geopolitical uncertainties. So as the tourism is less globally, it directly affects the Kabuli chickpeas consumption. So this is one thing I want to say, that the tourism is directly affect the Kabuli chickpeas consumption. And also, if we see the Indian inflation, like now the product, however, the Kabuli prices are stable, but somewhere if it affects, if the people are going facing inflation, they are more focused on their regular needs, so they are eating less outside, and it affects also the consumption of the Horeca industry products. So my idea, if the global economy is good, people travel a lot, so it increase the consumption and demands of the Kabuli chickpeas, garbanzo beans, like that.
Thank you so much, Navneet Bhai, for your amazing and valuable insights. It's always a pleasure to have you on our any conferences. Thank you so much, Navneet Bhai. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you so much.
So now we move from Kabuli to Africa, which is a very important region in the case of pulses. So we have our next speaker, Mr. Hari Ravi Verma, who is an accomplished trade executive currently serving as the director of RV Exports, a prominent enterprise specializing in agriculture commodity distribution. He possesses this deep expertise in the origination and export of traditional pulses and staples, focusing on building efficient trading channels for the EMEA region. His core competencies center on strict product quality assurance, local value addition management, and navigating complex international maritime logistics to connect regional farming communities with global buyers. We welcome you, Haribhai. Can you hear us, Haribhai? You are on mute if you are speaking.
Yeah, hope you can hear me now. Hello?
Yes, yes, very clearly.
Yeah.
Welcome, Haribhai.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Niraj. Yes.
Yeah.
So with regards to
So
pigeon
we'll,
peas,
yeah, yeah, please.
yeah.
Can I start with the question, or you were saying
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
sir?
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So Haribhai, the first question to you is: how do you see pigeon peas or chickpeas production in Africa, specifically like Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, and others? And any points which could be bothering for the upcoming season for it?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So with regards to the pigeon peas from Africa, so as you see that Mozambique is the largest exporter from Africa, and then we have Tanzania and Malawi as a small one. I'm talking about the East Africa. So West Africa is where Sudan, Ethiopia. I'm not concentrating on that. It's that's already coming. So let's go with East Africa. So what's happening now is that the next new crop is due in another 1.5 months, which will be arriving the East African market somewhere in July. So as of now, the crop looks decent. Uh, what I'm hearing from Tanzania is the similar number, which is close to almost 2.5 lakh metric ton, which is same as last year. Malawi also seems more or less the same numbers. Mozambique, Mozambique also looks like the crop is good. There's no issues with the crop as of now. So the entire numbers put together should be around 6.5 to 7 lakh tons, 6.5 lakh tons we can expect from East Africa. Until unless we're not sure about this El Nino situation, if it's affecting East Africa. As of now, we don't see any impact in the crop. But the situation in East Africa is that we don't have this advanced analysis mechanism like what we have in India, or where even before the harvest is done, you guys have the system of analyzing the acreage and the production numbers. So what will happen there in East Africa is that until we follow the system of seeing how much of arrivals are coming in the market. Like let's say for the month of June, we have a number that this much of crop should be in the market. For July, we have a number that this much. So based on that, we'll be able to have an idea whether the crop is same or if there's any impact in the uh, yield or acreage. I've not seen any changes in the acreage. If there's any impact in the yield, that is when we will be able to have an idea. So Africa looks fine as of now. The only issue is that the situation in India as of now, because of this El Nino, we're not sure if the kharif production will be affected. And so I've been hearing in the market that there has also been some trades have been done for Tanzania kharif. So looking at the production is good. So there's no changes in the production. It's standard production, which was last year. The same we can expect this year as well, provided there's no impact in the the yield. Yes, Neeraj.
Thank you so much, Haribhai, for the African pulses insight. So my next question will be, what specific quality assurance and local value addition strategies are required to reduce the trade frictions within the destination markets?
Quality, see, to be frank, everyone knows that Africa tourists is not, number one quality. Like, I don't want to mention Africa because Ethiopia and Sudan is having a better, Nigeria is also having some decent quality, which is premium quality. When you see Mozambique, Malawi, and Tanzania, people buy those crop in India, very sensitive market. Okay, tell that even if we are ready to increase, I mean, if let's say that the Indian government or the Tanzanian government or Mozambique government work together and try to change the seed type, to give a better quality. Or my question is that will Indian buyers ready to take this, so-called, better quality at a premium price? Because from already from Burma, you guys are already India is buying up lemon tour, and that's just considered African coffee, and also a good quality. So what is required in India is that they also want some cheap quality, which I mean that goes in this tender and this and all. So my question is that we are ready to work with the farmers to develop that sort of better quality, but is India ready to buy that? Okay, because this pigeon peas is one such commodity where we cannot export it to any other country except for India. At least as chickpeas and green mung is a commodity which can be exported to other countries. But pigeon peas, as African shippers or African farmers, are dependent on the Indian market. So it's a price sensitive market. So I don't think making the quality better will work for India. That question I leave it to the panel if that is something which Indian buyers will accept. Giving a premium for African quality. Yes, Neeraj.
Thank you, Ibai, that to mention that it's not only about the quality, the price is very important to make the trade. So the next question is, how are you re-engineering domestic procurement to connect regional farming communities with global buyers more efficiently amid we are having this rising volatility in the logistics?
See, you must be knowing that the system, there's a lot of system change in particularly in Tanzania. The farmers are now selling the cargo to the government. They're not directly selling the cargo to the trader, as in the exporters. So they are secured with their payments immediately, and whatever is the material available, the government is ready to take the cargo. I mean, it's an auction system which you guys must be aware, like in Tanzania. So it's the prices, as far as the prices are concerned, it's an open market. So whatever is the prices, which is the we are getting in India, the same prices is known every to even to a farmer in Tanzania or Mozambique, they know what's the price because of this all these messages and WhatsApp and this and all. So everyone is aware of what's happening in the world market and what price they can pick for their commodity. And moreover, this Tanzania, means particularly in Tanzania, they have done a lot of structural changes with regards to this auction system and all, which is pretty good now. So the farmers are getting a good benefit out of it, is what I feel with regards to the the competition which the government is trying to create among the exporters. Because I have to compete with another fellow exporter to give a better rate to in order to secure the cargo. So the benefit of which is also being absorbed by farmers, and also the government is also making uh, some financial gain with that. But they have the system which they have given to the farmers with the warehouse and support and all the payments are quick these days. Initially it was all a bit delayed. Now it's all the system is fine. The system is good enough to accommodate the price, better price for the farmers, and better payment system. That I don't think even in Malawi, Mozambique, the system is open system where they can buy the cargo from the farmers. But as I said, the markets are open these days. Everyone knows what's happening, so farmers are getting the better price rather than like 10 years back. You don't know what's happening in the 10, 15 years back. You don't know what's happening in the Indian market. So So you can buy at any price, but now it's very competitive market. So exporters are working with very reasonable margins, and everyone is getting their share of the market.
Yeah, that's great to hear that farmers are getting their piece now. So, Haribhai, before we let you go, the last question is what are the primary bottlenecks in establishing direct, efficient export channels for staple pulses out of developing agriculture zones?
Bottlenecks. See, as of now, I can say that in the current scenario, there's always been this issues with the logistics and export. Okay, so logistics part is something which is not very easy in Africa. Let's say that even throughout Africa, even West Africa or East Africa, for a matter of fact. As an exporter, if I'm taking an order for export of 1,000, 2,000 tons within July, August, so finding a container, finding the shipments which have to be on time as well. Because if let's say that I'm shipping a cargo from Dar es Salaam to Navasheva, there are routes where the cargo can reach in even 7 days. There are routes where the cargo can reach in even 30 days. As an exporter, we have these difficulties where we have to, logistics is a main difficulty in Tanzania, because recently you would have also seen from West Africa, there's been huge port congestion from Nigeria. A lot of soya shipments and cashew shipments were all stuck at Nigerian port for even weeks or months together. And this is something which that considering the volume of exports which are happening there from Africa, so the government should also try to make the system and the operations of the port even more easier for the exporters to handle. East Africa, as of now, is much better compared to what's happening in West Africa. I don't know. West Africa is having some issues. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the current world scenario because of the Middle East situation. A lot of containers are dumped there. The port congestion that we have seen even in our Seva port, a lot of port containers were dumped there. So I'm not sure if that is because of that, but generally the logistics is a huge part in shipping. Whereas we can easily buy a cargo, easily keep it, and finding containers and shipping the cargo on time is something which is a very difficult situation working from Africa. So that has to be somehow managed. East Africa is somehow better compared to West Africa, but still we are having our sort of our side difficulties as well. Being uh, exporter, these are the difficulties we particularly face in shipping. Logistics is a main difficult part. So for the exports, apart from that, other mechanism is all fine. So just the logistics is something which can be made better for the trade to happen easily.
Yeah, thank you so much, Haribhai, and we just hope that it gets solved as soon as possible, the logistic part, which is very important. And thank you once again, Haribhai, for joining, and give our best regards to Guru Bhai as well. And we look forward to have you in future conferences. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we move to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Mr. Jahid Nagarwala. He is an accomplished entrepreneur and commercial strategist, currently serving as the CEO of Alpha Group, operating across key international trade networks. And he possesses robust expertise in high volume sourcing, global shipping networks, and port side commodity handling for grains and pulses. His specialized skill set centers on managing volatile international contract books, establishing secure trade pipelines across emerging EMEA markets, and optimizing cross-border logistic infrastructure. Welcome, Zahid Bhai. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
Can
Zahid
you hear
Bhai.
me?
Yes, sir,
Ah,
loud and clear, sir, and looking fantastic.
thank you, Neeraj bhai, and thank you, Deepak ji. As you always says, Deepak ji is a voice of African pulse player.
Yeah, surely, surely. So
Also from buyers, sellers, everybody loves Deepak bhai. Eh?
Yeah, we all love him, and unfortunately, due to some urgent reasons, he couldn't join today. So I'm trying to fill his suits now. Thanks to all of you for the support.
Marathi, we say, Deepak bhai, apna manu.
Yes. So, Zahid bhai, again, thank you. And we'll start with you for the first question will be, what are the most effective technical strategies for optimizing trade from not so easy origins like Mozambique for high volume pulse shipments?
See, first of all, I say Mozambique is no more much challenging as it was before. Situation is much better now. Last year it was also very improved, and shipments are now it's far better than previous years. But still, not only for Mozambique, I can say only all with Africa. I spent near about 20 years with Africa. So I can say with full Africa is full with uncertainties. Uncertainties like weather, currency, logistic issues, sudden unrest, political movements. So this everything you have to be ready. When you are dealing with Africa, you have to be ready with these uncertainties. But I believe the best tactics to handle the African pulse trade, uh, it's you have to be a grounded. It's must you must be have expertise. You have to be a grounded. It's not like in Africa. It's not you go today and tomorrow you start exporting. It is Africa is not like that. For if you are dealing with Africa, first you have to be you have to be a part of Africa. A part of Africa. You have to spend a long years. It's need a lot of planning. It's need a lot of your patience. You have a significant investments. See, Africa is with full with opportunities. Even governments are supporting, but from your side, you have to come with your patience, your expertise to handle the grounds, and as well as on ground level expertise. You also have a very good grip on your destination market. Like if you are strong in African supply or African export or African shipments, but if you are not strong on your destination markets, then you will be a hit. So I think this is the best tactics you have to develop if if you want to deal with African policies, if you want to run a successful business from Africa.
Yeah. Thank you, Zaid bhai, and amazing explanation coming from the great experience you are having in the Africa. So the next question would be, how do you manage volatile international contract books when trading across markets facing sudden regulatory or economic shifts as we see now?
Sorry, I cannot hear you well.
So my
Hello.
question is, yeah, Zaid bhai. So my question is, how do you manage volatile international contract books when trading across markets facing sudden regulatory or economic shifts? Hello. I think we have lost him. Just a minute. Navneet bhai, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think we have lost Zaid bhai. Let me just check with him. Yeah, he's back. Hello, Zaid bhai, can you hear me now? Hello. Zaid bhai, can you hear me now?
Sorry, I got disconnected. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, loud and clear. So, Zaid bhai, the question was, how do you manage volatile international contract books when trading across markets facing sudden regulatory or economic shifts?
See, um, see, Neeraj bhai, when on a reference of African trader or African export, if you see the volatilities, we as African exporters, we always on over open risk in compare of Australian or US exporters or Canadian exporters. This volatilities and changing of the laws, we have to bear on open risk on our pocket, on our sides. Uh, See, in Africa, we don't have currency hedgings. We don't have forward currency bookings. Logisticals, we have issues. Insurance, we have issues. So this all uncertainties we have to handle openly with when we are dealing with Africa. But I believe when you have a reputation regarding your quality shipments, your genuinity, your timely shipments, then you can get a support by your destination buyers, and probably you will be able to handle you can overcome the uncertainties with the changing the market.
Thank you so much, Zaid bhai. So now that brings me to the next question. What structural indicators do you utilize to identify and secure reliable alternative trade pipelines when primary corridors experience the severe friction?
See, Neeraj bhai, for African pulses, East African or West African pulses, our 90-95% trades are depend with India. But still, uh, in some commodity like green mung, everything, we have to depend on Jebel Ali like market. And this if the Jebel Ali corridor or this corridor is disturbed, we have to focus on other market like Nepal, like Karachi, but still that is not a volume market. You cannot beat a volume on that one. So that is a big challenge for us at this moment. Neeraj bhai?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. Thank you very much, Zaid bhai. So now the next question to you will be, before we let you go, how is the geopolitics directly impacting the margin structures and distribution models of bulk pulse traders?
See, it's a very good questions, and you can say these questions next 2-3 months or next 6 months. These questions will affect a lot. See, we are also worried. These geopolitical situations are keeping the things are on very bad situations, creating a bad situation in Africa. Uh, just from 1.5 to 2 months, we are far from our upcoming crops of pigeon peas, which is near about 800,000 tons, 700 to 800,000 tons from East Africa. Uh, Crops, seedings numbers are well, sowing numbers are well, but on ground level there is a shortage of the fuels. There is a shortage of transportations due to the fuels, and this will because of this geopolitical situations. And if in near future, if it will be not clear, then we are worried how we will move our cargo from bush, from farmer to port. How we will move, that's we worried. And still we everybody is thinking about how this huge volume of near about 700,000 to 800,000 tons can be possible to move in this shortage of the fuels.
Yeah. Thank you, Zaid Bhai, for your valuable insights. Uh, Great insights for our audience. And thanks once again, Zaid Bhai.
Talk about policies. I will give just like to give you one small
Yeah, sure,
data.
sure.
From January 2025 to December 2025, in 12 months, India has imported near 910,000, approximately 900,000 tons of PGNPs from Africa, from all over Africa, from East Africa, West Africa, including Mozambique, Tanzania, Sudan, Malawi, small part from the Uganda, as well as from Nigeria. So see, Africa, when you talk about pulses, we have to take second name of Africa, because we already near about 1 million ton crop for these pulses.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zaid Bhai. A great insight at the end. And once again, thank you so much for joining and providing us the great discussion and insights. We look forward to have you in future discussions as well. Thank
We
you
are
so much.
always with you. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Thank you so much, Zaid Bhai. Yeah. So now that brings us to, thank you so much, Zaid Bhai. So that brings us to our last speaker today, Antonina Skyranko. She is an influencer, agribusiness advocate, and development strategist serving as the president of the Ukraine Pulse and Soybean Association. Operating at the core of the Black Sea Agriculture Corridor, she deepens global market access and drives international policy frameworks for regional producers.
Mhm.
Our expertise centers on multi stakeholder trade diplomacy, supply chain risk management under geopolitical instability, and fostering agro industry modernization that boosts high yield leguminous export to Europe and APEC. Thank you, Antonina, for joining. And also, we would like to take this opportunity to thank Ukraine Pulse and Soybean Association along with you to support us in this Commodity Week World as our association partner. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you so much for invitation. It was nice to speak on your big conference, because this conference going not one day, and a lot of people now joining. And if we talk about Ukraine Pulse market, first of all, about balances in Ukraine. Then at the moment we access it is quite comfortable. Producers maintain interest in the drop due to the lower need for fertilizers compared to many other crops, as well as stable demand on foreign markets. At the same time, the last season showed that the presence of a crop does not yet guarantee successful export. For example, Ukraine received one of the largest harvests for last 10 years from 2015 of peace in recent years, but the export rate turned out to be lower than expected due to weak demand on some traditional markets. This year, we have around 280,000 hectares if we talk about pea, because we mainly Ukraine growing peas. Also, we grow chickpeas, red lentils, green lentils. Around every year, around 100,000 hectares. It's beans. It's white beans and color beans. And that's why Ukraine, and also if we talk about soya, of course, for soybean, Ukraine it's a big player. I think because every year around 2.2 million hectares we harvesting. we're growing. Also, if if we talk about Black Sea agriculture corridor, we understand well access to world markets today depends not only on price, quality, or availability of products, and it's increasingly determined by how officially trade diplomacy is built between states, businesses, logistics operation, and international partners. In my opinion, the first framework is a predictability of trade rules. In the conditions of geopolitical instability for business, it is critically important to understand what requirements are in force today and what may appear tomorrow. Regarding customs duties, quotas, certification, phytosanitary control, transit, and access to port infrastructure. And the second framework is a constant dialogue with key markets. And it is not only about opening new directions, but also about maintaining trust in suppliers from the region. In unstable conditions, the buyer must be sure that the contract will be fulfilled, the quality will be combined, and the supply will be ensured. And if we talk if we talk about today, pulse producers operate under conditions of much higher uncertainty than a few years ago. Therefore, the issue of increasing exports is no longer limited to growing the crop. Risk management through the supply chain is becoming key. We see that the most successful companies are abandoning dependence on a single sales market and developing several export directions at the same time. This allows them to respond more quickly to changes in demand, trade restrictions, or logistical challenges. Special attention is paid to product quality. Buyers increasingly export not just a product, but stable quality parameters, traceability of origin, and reliability of contract fulfillment. That is why investments in processing, sorting, and quality control are becoming necessary conditions for entering new markets. Logistics remain a equally important factor. Companies strive to have several alternative supply routes and plan shipments in advance to minimize the impact of possible descriptions disruptions in the transport infrastructures. And at the same time, the approach to sales is changing. More and more producers are seeking to build direct relationship with end consumers and processors, which allows them to better understand markets' needs, generate more stable demand, and increase export efficiently. In general, competitiveness in the pulse market today is not determined solely by yield or price. It is shaped by a company's ability to ensure supply stability, manage risk, and quickly adapt to changes in the global market. And I also want to tell that in Ukraine now we have a war, and it was very difficult to grow, to harvest crop, but our farmers and trade and companies every year, every last 5 years growing. We are selling, and we will prolong to do this. And also, we want to invite all participants of this conference to do big trade for pulse market, for grain market, for oil seeds market, face to face this year in Mersin in 24-25 of September. Please join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Antonina, for such an insightful details from Ukraine. It was amazing to hear what you have just said. Very insightful for our audience. And once again, thank you so much. We all know that Ukraine is going through a tough time, and we all wish that it gets over very soon. And thank you for inviting all of us to the conference you mentioned. And once again, thank you so much to you as well as UPSA for joining this conference and supporting us on our initiative. Thank you so much, Antonina.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now that's the end of this Pulses session for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Now we'll be going towards Americas, Canada, US, and all at 9 a.m. NYT, which is 6:30 p.m. India time. We look forward to have you there. One of our great speaker in that session will be the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Bill Grewal. We look forward to hear from him the greatest insight on pulses from Canada's perspective. So once again, we thank you everyone for joining us. This is the fifth day. We have finished the second session on the fifth day. One more session on America's Pulses left today, and tomorrow we'll be having three more sessions on sugar for Asia Pacific, EMEA, and the North and South Americas. So we wish to have you all in the remaining sessions. Thank you and goodbye and take care.